Okay, Attack on Titan, episode 24. I did record a live reaction to certain parts of the episode, but I was like, I'm kind of sick, and I can't really react properly because I'm like sitting there, and I'm like, this medicine has just got me down, you know? So, but overall, man, this is the penultimate, sorry, I believe, see, the medicine, I believe this is a penultimate episode, because 25 is the end of this season, I want to say. I don't know. Please keep me up to date in terms of like whether or not this is set to continue. But basically, we get a little bit more information in terms of what happened prior to this anti-transformation, which is that 2 days earlier, Levi and Erwin devised a plan thanks to Armin's deduction that Annie was the female Titan. And the rest of the episode is basically just Eren struggling and coming to terms with whether or not he should attack Annie and transform. Everything that goes in between is basically pretty much everybody putting in the work to try to take the Titan down. And I mean, you got Mikasa flying around, and I say flying because it's like there's certain sequences with her and John where it doesn't even look like they're using maneuver gear anymore. It just seems like they're flying, like they suddenly learned to fly. Before that, there's like this really creepy look that Mikasa gives Eren, and she's like, Eren, do you have certain feelings for Annie? And I'm like, oh shit, like, yo, she looks jealous as all hell. And so there's this one part where she gets caught by the female Titan, and she pretty much does the same thing. It's funny because it seems like, you know, Mikasa picked up something from both Levi and Reiner, because there's this one part where she just basically cuts through the female Titan's arm, just like Levi did, except she's not really spinning. And then she gets caught, and she's like, fuck this, and does the exact same thing that Reiner did. But in this case, we see the female Titan's fingers just, you know, just fall down, and it was really cool. You can really tell that combat ability-wise, they really stepped it up a notch because they know so much more about how to deal with her. Like, for example, there's this one part where John comes in and he tries to slice the back of her neck, which is basically the same thing that the guy that used to bite his tongue, remember, I think Oluo, that was his name. He tried to do the exact same thing, but the problem was that after it didn't work, he stayed in midair just thinking, why didn't it work? Whereas John, he tries to cut, it doesn't work, so he's like, okay, fuck it, I'm out, and he just gets out there so quick. So he doesn't give the female Titan time to react. And speaking of John, there's this one scene where he's running to help Eren, and he looks up at the rooftops, and he sees the military police, and he thinks to himself, he realizes just how useless they are. And they're a bunch of pussies, pretty much. And he's like, man, I could have been one of those guys. It was just such a cool throwback, you know, to realize that sometimes in life you choose a different path and you kind of wondered, well, did I do the right thing? And then you see other people and how they you know, they took the easy way, the easy choice. And it's just so unfulfilling, and yet you took the right choice, or you took the path that you really felt you should take, and you're better off for it. Also, Hanji, man, I thought she was gonna die, all right? I really did think that, because I was like, Hanji, what are you doing? You're getting too close, you know? She's gonna poke the Titan's eye, and it's like, oh, her feet, get the fuck out of there, Hanji. So yeah, apparently she's okay, which is good. But yeah, everybody is trying to play a role in just stopping the female Titan, with the exception of Levi, who's just, you know, wearing a suit. I'm just kidding. I mean, he did his part. I think he'll do something else. Plus, he's injured. I think Erwin is also going to do something. But we'll have to wait for next week's episode, final episode of the season. And then I also want to say that I was kind of annoyed with Eren at first, because it's like, why aren't you transforming? What the fuck is going on? And he keeps biting his hand. It's like, holy shit. But then when I saw him like under that debris, and then I noticed that he had been, like, he literally had pieces of debris going right through him. So it's like, holy shit, like, this must be painful as fuck. And yet he's not moving. So yeah, I guess he just had conflicting emotions. But then finally by the end, you know, he just puts it in gear, and it's like, let's go, and he connects, just smashing the female Titan into this building. I hope there weren't any people in there. But I think what I found most freaking amazing about it is like this thing that's piercing, you know, part of his chest. he just keeps moving like up and down this thing, like I don't give a fuck. And you see his facial features turn into that of the Titan. It's like, whoa. Because he remembers like all these people who have died. Got this random ass shot of a cat on some stairs. I was like, this is random as hell, you know, just a cat and a puddle of blood. And then we get like a mini flashback of the fight between Eren and Annie in the woods. And we realize what Eren saw. Because remember, he was paralyzed with shock at one point, and that's pretty much what cost him the fight. And it's because like he saw her stance. And it turns out that the thing that decapitated Titan Eren, initially I thought it was a punch, but it turned out to be a kick, a roundhouse kick to the face. Overall, I thought the episode was great. I think it really did a good job in terms of hooking people for wanting to see next week's episode, which is going to be displayed in theaters in Japan. So it's kind of like people are going to go and just sit in a theater to watch like this championship match.
Let's get ready to rumble!
I'm going to watch that shit on pay-per-view. Please rate and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll catch you next week for the main event.